Hey tankers, and welcome back to World of Tanks with PR154, and welcome back to Highway. In fact, our last video was taken on Highway in a Foch B, but we're not here to watch that. We're here to watch the Leopard 1, piloted by Soldat Udachi of the KMC clan. There is a lot to like about the Leopard 1. It has quite good mobility, but what we do love most about it is the firepower. You have a base dispersion value of 0.28 meters per 100 meters, and the dynamic dispersion characteristics, i.e. your dispersion from rotating the hull, moving the turret, and forward momentum is not that high either. So you end up with a very stable and accurate gun platform with not bad DPM either. 2800 damage per minute is the output. If you look at the shell selection, that's not too bad either. 278mm pen with the standard stuff, and 323mm with APCR. That's probably a little bit on the low side, but when you're playing to the role of Leopard 1 as using its mobility, playing to the sniper role, hopefully you're able to maneuver the vehicle so that you're not forced to fight frontal armor anyway. So we've got a 4-tank element that's pushed straight into A1 on Highway. That always makes me happy to see. A1 is, in my opinion, the most important position on Highway, because control of this position, particularly if you've got an east side deployment, really enables you to exert map control subsequently. And it's really important for the west side deployment to successfully defend it. Now, because they've been able to take this position and actually take it without any losses, I might add, they've really been able to blitz it. Now the enemy's going to be on the back foot. They've got 4 medium tanks, hull down medium tanks at that are now able to push through the south and really start to contest the cap. And depending on what's left behind, there's not a lot of coming back from it. Now that we know of, there's a Stridsvagn 103B, there's also the Guard. And okay, it looks like there's a Centurion 1 back there as well. Now, perhaps a more forward deployment of the Centurion 1, a more enthusiastic defense of this A1 circle, could that have made a difference? I don't know. But either way, this A1 position needs to be treated with respect, and just having the having a 4v3 fight might not necessarily work there. So they've got a Guard also defending the cap area, fighting from a bit of a position of cover. Soldat showing off a little bit with the precision of the Leopard 1's main armament with a cupola shot to the Guard 1. Rolling forward, they're able to identify the Stridsvagn 103B. Bit of a bounce off the lower frontal plate. It might have had a bit more success on the upper frontal plate, but I can't blame a guy for reflexively aiming for a lower frontal plate shot. Often that's where you do manage to land your penetrations in the first place. We know the SPG's back in the corner. It's quite possibly just it and the Stridsvagn 103B. That's all that appears to have been spotted. Very high concealment rating there on the Stridsvagn 103B. The Soldat had to be just about on top of the guy in order to identify them, but there's going to be no bounces off armor from this range. No bounces at all. A few lub taps here and there, but it's the FV4202 that's able to knock them out. Bit of a late entry from friendly artillery, but better late than never. We'll certainly do without the stunning. Now, it would appear that the enemy team has actually been able to win in the city. And there might be a couple of reasons for that. The support, there was a lot of potential support from the city that was really languishing back at the cap circle. It wasn't actually doing a lot either, because once these guys had taken A1 and were pushing south, that really didn't afford a lot of targets to the tank destroyers operating out of this area. Sensible choice for them might have been to sort of push in and reinforce their comrades in the city, but this is random battles. You can't always count on sensibility to prevail. But not to worry, they do have a 5-gun advantage, and considerable hit point advantage as well. I'd say they're nearly double the amount of hit points left in the fight here. So Soldat Udachi is rolling in, having a look at the enemy lineup. They've got an Object 907, they've got a Tortoise. What else have we got here? I can't really tell from the labels here, but that's alright. And we're making a couple of gains on a mission here, and so Soldat does have a job to do. He needs to cause another 1,200 hit points of damage to tank destroyers, which it appears that the Tortoise has. Now, if we play our cards right, this could come up with a very nice result for Soldat Udachi. Have a look at this counter. This is the 2,500 hit point count that we need for Mission Tank Destroyer 15 of the T-55A. This can be very difficult to get the right planets to align here, but he's been able to knock that one over. It's caused quite a bit of damage to enemy vehicles, and that's also a win. So well done to Soldat Udachi for knocking that personal campaign mission over for T-55A. Let's take a look at the results. That's a first class mastery badge for their efforts there. Also picking up the high caliber medal for accounting for at least 20% of the hit point pool of enemy vehicles. Absolute fistful of badges of merit here. We've got the bruiser medal for causing damage to enemy vehicle modules or crew members at least 5 times in the course of the battle. We've got the spotter medal for enabling allies to spot at least 1,000 hit points of damage, which we're touching nearly 1,600 hit points there. Hand of God for surviving and winning the battle, having received damage for at least 4 different enemy vehicles. It was certainly placing himself in the line of fire to pick up this result here today. We've got the Duelist medal for destroying at least 2 enemy vehicles that have caused damage to them in turn. The Fighter medal for accounting for at least 4 to 5 enemy kills, and we've got the lower limit of that with 4 enemy kills, but it's certainly nothing to shrug at. And of course the Fire for Effect medal, which goes hand in hand with the High Caliber medal. And have a look at this, nearly 5,700 hit points of damage inflicted on the enemy. Very, very nicely done there. Very aggressive push through the one line, and then ultimately finishing up in the city to pick up MT-15 with honours for the T-55A. Having a look at the team scores, fairly tight experience points placement in the top echelons. A special mention to the Shadow in the FV4202 and Mad Crab from the Kiwi clan in the Primo Victoria. These were 2 tanks that had accompanied Soldat Udachi on that initial push into A1, an essentially important position for the highway map, and they have been rewarded accordingly. On the enemy team, we've got the Object 252U Defender and Tortoise, and of course the Object 907 that had racked up nearly 4,400 hit points worth of damage there. Looks like they were quite instrumental in that defense of the city, and in fact they'd even won that earlier in the game, but just having lost A1 early, the team had ultimately just lost the initiative for that game. Having a look at the detailed report, this was quite a profitable game for Soldat Udachi, thanks in large part to the personal missions payout that generally accompanies honours completions of personal campaign missions. But we weren't firing a lot of gold there, really only switched to the gold when he needed those penetrating hits on the Tortoise at the end of the game. Obviously a bit of a repair bill, having sustained a bit of damage, but you take that all into account. This is a game that's still made 20,000 credits out of it in a tier 10 game, and picking up MT-15.3 for the T-55A. So all in all, very well done, Soldat. And if you've got a game that you're proud of and you'd like to share with the community, please reach out over Discord or any of the links below, and I'll do our best to sort you out. Please do check the About section in the YouTube channel. That's generally got some of the submission guidelines that I look for in our videos. In the meantime, take care out there.